It is time. You can't understand how excited I am to read Twilight. Full disclosure, I did read it when I was 14, and unfortunately, that was 16 years. I'm sorry, I think I'm just going to be sick to my stomach. It's 16 years ago. Ugh. And I don't remember anything from the book, that is. There's meme things that I remember, like her walking into the classroom or them playing baseball in the field. But that's only because those scenes are so ridiculous that people have memed them. In terms of the actual story, nada. And I've only ever seen the first movie, but that would have been the year it came out. And I don't remember the book I read last week, let alone this one. So, excited to be a fresh baby duckling here and experience this journey with you again. Hold on. Jesus. Don't look at what's happening in the background. Blank that out. Tell me why the opening note of this book is a Bible verse from Genesis. It's the one about eating an apple from the tree of good and evil. What in the world does this story have to do with that? I know I don't remember much, but who's the apple in this situation? Is it Edward? Is it Bella? I don't think this makes sense in either context. I don't know. We're early and this doesn't feel associated. Now, I did just realize that the cover of this book has an apple on it. And I know that that's tied into the Bible verse. I don't understand. I can Google this. I'm not gonna. That feels like cheating. We're on page 10 and we already have eyes on Edward, and I love a book that just gets straight to the chase. And also Charlie. I like Charlie a lot, and I don't know why. He just wants his daughter to like him, man. He does so much. Good guy. Pause. I forgot about the stepbrother, stepsister kink thing that's going on here. And by forgot, I mean my 14-year-old self didn't notice it. They're all adopted by the same couple, but they're dating each other. That's weird, right? Legal? I think so. Technical incest? No. But weird. I'm going to keep my eye on that, but I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I got so many half puzzles going on in my head right now. It's I remember this guy Mike, but I don't remember why. I think he just pines after her the whole book. I remember that Edward misses school, but I don't remember why. And he just missed his first day after sitting next to Bella and discovering that she smells or something. It's like I'm holding a key ring, but I don't know where the doors are. Again, based on seeing the memes of Robert Pattinson's performance, I can't fault the guy. Edward's character is written just weird as hell. This guy is so awkward. He reads like a malfunctioning robot, and I can see why Robert Pattinson has such disdain for this character. Now, when I was 14, I distinctly remember being Team Edward. And why? He's kind of a condescending ass. All he does is just insult Bella. Be like, Bella, you don't understand anything. Bella, you're absurd. Bella, you're unobservant. And I know a piece of this is him trying to protect his own skin, right? Because he can't get close to the human. But at the same time, even though he's playing a 17-year-old, shouldn't his temperament be that of a 150-year-old? I haven't even met Jacob yet, and I'm considering being in his corner. This book keeps trying to talk to me about Mike, Tyler, and Eric. And I gotta be honest with you, I am never gonna remember who these people are. They're all just stand-ins for 3rd, 4th, and 5th place. Isn't one generic white guy enough? Why do I need 3? I swear I'm not trying to pick this story apart because I'm having a really good time. But also, times have changed a lot since this was written, and is Edward a groomer? They just had the conversation in the car where Bella's like, I'm 17 years old. And again, it clicks where you're like, Edward, you're not. And kind of by any definition here, right? Even if he waits till she's 18. Did anyone talk about this in 2007? Or was everybody just like, no, this is normal? I've officially met Jacob. He's not going to be a groomer, is he? Oh, he's 15. We're fine. I'm officially in the greatest part of any vampire story that has ever existed. And it's the part where the dumb, ignorant person starts to see all of the signs and wonders that leads them to believe that vampires could actually exist. But no, that's not possible. But he stopped the van. And then there's Jacob going on about the cold ones back from his great-grandfather's time, which is why the Cullens aren't allowed on the reservation. And look how quickly he moves from one place to the next. But at this point, we know what's coming up next. And that's the scene where they confront the vampire. Oh. Jacob might know more than he's supposed to know. Apparently the Cullens aren't allowed on the reservation because they kind of know that they're vampires. And he also kind of gave away that there's maybe werewolves. And obviously the story is about vampires and werewolves. I didn't know that Jacob knew about it all already. Does he know he's a werewolf? Because his character also kind of makes it sound like, oh, it's just folklore. If there's one thing this book nails, it is the teenage angst. You know, Jessica wants Mike, Mike wants Bella, Bella wants Edward, Edward wants to potentially have sex with a 17-year-old. Not a good look. But then there's Charlie, who just wants his daughter to love him and for potentially his ex-wife to come back. Kind of super weird. He still lives in the same house they bought together 20 years ago. But I love it. I love the whole picture. Every time Mike asks Bella out and gets turned down, my heart just leaps with joy. Do I feel bad for him? Yeah, like a little bit. I go back to the 8th grade. I think about that time I asked Tessa out to the dance and she said no. It's so real. New girl comes to town and everybody's like, who's that? Unfortunately for them, they are competing with a vampire. And in case anybody's wondering, I was competing with an 11th grader named Jason, who's divorced now, so suck it. All right, now I remember that Edward has a talent. Like he can do something supernatural, but I don't remember what it is. And a piece of me thinks it's mind control because everyone he talks to is like, yeah, man, whatever you need. He even talks to teachers and they're like, yeah, skip class. We don't care. You're so handsome and cool. But there's this other piece of me that's got this nagging thing in the back of my head that's going, no, that's only the Salvatore brothers or, you know, vampires from that world. But if he can't mind control people, what can he do? Can he locate them? Is that why he knew where Bella was when she was about to get mugged by those dudes? Nah, that's a stupid fucking power. I think he can mind control people. He just admitted to following her. And he can read minds. I fucking knew it was something to do with minds. Not my fault I got it confused with fucking Vampire Diaries. Look, I've never lived in the head of a 17-year-old girl before, so you gotta tell me here. If you found out that your high school crush was stalking you a little bit, following you to places, is this a positive? They're having the vampire conversation. And she is handling this so much better than I would. He goes, I'm following you. And she says, that's fine. How? Well, I can read minds. Just not your mind. Interesting. Do you sleep in a coffin? No, that's a myth. Burned by the sun? Myth. Why do your eyes get black? I'm hungry. And also very dangerous. That's fine. I don't mind. You're very handsome. I do kind of feel like we skipped a step. Shouldn't she be panicking? Holy shit, vampires are real. That's what I would do. I wish I could teach a college course on this book. Pardon my voice, I just woke up. Edward just said the words, and I'm not kidding, this is not an exaggeration. He said, I want to know everything you're thinking. I just wish you wouldn't think certain things. We all simped over this man in 2008. We were like, this is peak male performance. Also in 2008, we didn't use words like gaslighting or toxic. Back then, we'd have said something like, he's a good man. He's just very particular. There's an undertone that meant he's controlling. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not in this fandom, but I've never heard people talk about the negative of these things. Everybody's either just like Team Edward, Team Jacob. But I'm on Team Edward should go to therapy. And I'm not being facetious. I genuinely love it. I love that at one point a book existed where all of these lines could be said and things could be done and there weren't riots in the street. Because you know who the modern day version of this is? Tamlin. Wait, if they don't burn in the sun, why don't they go out in it? Oh, this is another one of those keys on my key ring and I don't know where the door is. I know there's a reason. There's always a reason. Also, I'm so ready to meet the siblings. We keep hearing about Emmett and Rosalie and Jasper, and you're like, yeah, cool, but can I get some conversations with them? I actually don't think Jacob knows he's a werewolf. I also don't think he believes in vampires. Early on, it really made it sound like he did because he was the one who told the Cold One story to Bella. But Bella just got caught hanging out with Edward, and it really pissed off Jacob's dad, and Jacob laughed and called his dad a superstitious old man, which makes me believe Jacob doesn't know anything yet. I like Jacob. He's a fun time. He's really lighthearted right now. And I think that's going to change. He sparkles. I forgot he sparkles. That's what he does in the sun. He sparkles. I cleaned my room. And while I did that, I tried to remember for the life of me why I liked Edward back in the day. I'm sure he's got his moments. We're early in the trilogy, but currently, Edward just spent 30 minutes of real human time in a meadow with Bella going, hey, do you know that day in biology where I acted really weird? That was because I was doing my best not to fucking kill you. I left school and I got in my fake dad's car and I drove to Alaska because I wanted to fucking kill you. He said, do you know how drug addicts want to shoot heroin in their veins? It's the only thing they want. They want it more than anything. That is how I feel about wanting to fucking kill you. Are you picking up on the theme of this conversation? This is me again. I'm no longer Edward. He said Carlisle considered moving our entire family because of my desire to fucking kill you. He said all of this to her over a picnic in the woods. And to me, it brings up a question. Does he like her, or is he singularly attracted to her blood? Now I'm not trying to be funny, like I'm being genuine. It's the thing where, like, if I see a supermodel on the street and I'm like, you're the most attractive person ever, I want to be in a relationship with you, I would hope that she has issue with that. She should go, well, maybe get to know me as a person first before you make that call. It's just, there's only been like 2 scenes with Jacob, and I'm leaning pretty heavy to Team Jacob right now. Vampires are cooler, obviously. Fuck werewolves. But bro, you gotta learn the difference between inside thoughts and outside thoughts. But I gotta be fair here. He's truthful. We like a truthful guy. The others do have powers. I think I knew that. I just couldn't remember what they are. All right, so Jasper can like influence other people. I think the mom can see the future, which is crazy. Emmett's like crazy strong. Okay, loving all of this. We got some development. What I don't love is how we found that out, because Edward basically just told it to Bella. We didn't see anything happen. Still haven't even met the family yet. So I hope we get to see this play out more. Man, they're using the L word. And then Edward goes, you're my life now. And this is how I know I'm getting old, because I want to sit them down and be like, listen, you got a lot of life ahead of you. I know you feel what you feel really strongly right now, but there's a lot of fish in the sea, and maybe just like take it slow. Just, it's such a 17-year-old's move to meet somebody and a month later be like, I love you. Pause. Bella's about to meet the family. Nobody move. Everyone keeps asking me if I'm going to read Midnight Sun, and it's like, yeah, I probably am going to, but we also just got 20 straight pages of monologue lore about Carlisle, and I realized I don't want Midnight Sun. I want Carlisle's OG story. I want 500 pages of his origin story. His dad was a vampire hunter who passed on that business to Carlisle. Carlisle was out hunting a vampire when he got turned. In London in the 1600s, by the way. Who then swam across the English Channel and studied medicine by night for like 100 years. And don't get me wrong, I'm still very much having a good time, but it's kind of rude to bait me with a story about a vampire pretending to be 17 and in high school when I have Carlisle's lore just sitting right there. This seems like the kind of thing that people wrote a lot of fan fiction about back in the day. Other than that, the family's great. Other than Emmett and Rosalie, because they don't want to play nice right now. Apparently, there are some healthy disagreements about how the current Bella situation should be handled, and honestly, understandable. The baseball scene. Okay, here's the deal with this. I don't remember this scene from the book. I only remember it from the movie because it's been memeified like a million times, and it's here. Oh, I can't wait to watch it in the movie. Okay, Edward's 100% a predator. And I don't mean the kind that runs through the woods and hunts deer. I mean, there's a lot that just happened. Okay, so we know actually now that Jacob has no idea what's going on about the vampires and werewolves. What had happened was Bella and Edward pull up to Bella's house. Jacob and Jacob's dad are waiting on Bella's porch to tell Bella's dad that Bella's hanging out with a vampire. And Bella's like, hey, let me handle this. And Edward goes, okay, that's fair, but keep in mind the child doesn't know about any of this. The child he's referring to is Jacob. Bella turns and goes, hey, he's not that much younger than I am. And I quote, in the book it says, Edward smiles and says, I know. That's fucking weird. That's weird. I don't like it. Jacob's dad seems like a really nice guy too. Like he's got genuine concern for Bella. But to me that raises the question, does he disproportionately dislike the Cullens because it is the vampire versus werewolf thing? Or did they do something at one point that made him hate them? It's just like a dark skeleton in their closet. I love Charlie. Bella finally tells Charlie that she's dating Edward, and Charlie loses his shit. He's like, he's too old for you. And Bella goes, he's my age. He goes, which one's Edwin? Bella's like, it's Edward, and he's the youngest one. I just love Charlie. Like a couple days ago, he was ranting and raving about how the Cullens are the best thing to happen to Forks. And then as soon as Bella gets involved, it's like, fuck those people. There's like 100 pages left and they just started playing baseball. And I'm just starting to wonder, like, does this book have a plot? It's fine if it doesn't. I'm still enjoying myself. But like, what's going to happen with 100 pages left that's going to move it into the next book? Or is this just, it's 4 books of all vibes? Is it 4 books of all vibes? Oh, other vampires are going to show up. Okay, there's your plot point. And also, I like Emmett. You know, Alice had seen the vision that they were going to show up and everybody started freaking out. And then Emmett is like, how many are there? And these aren't his exact words, but when he finds out that there's only 3, he essentially flexes and says, I'll beat the shit out of them. He's like, yeah, I don't care if they show up. Let them. So anyways, they are going to show up and we will see what happens. Why does the plan to save Bella have to include hurting Charlie? You get how happy he is that like his daughter is just back and hanging out with him? And they're going to make her walk in that house and just rip his heart right out of his chest. I don't like it.
It is a new day, and I got a haircut. Here's the deal. I didn't actually read the Charlie scene yesterday because it's going to be mean and I don't want it. So like an adult, I just didn't and went to bed. But now I have to read it because if I don't finish this book by tomorrow at noon, you don't get this video by Sunday. So I'm going to go hurt myself now. If you just want to stay where you're at, I'll be back.
What the fuck was that? I'm upset. Charlie begged her not to leave. Like, he literally begged her not to leave, and she decided that she was going to use her mom's last words when she left Charlie against him. Which she actually said something meaner. She said the words, "I'm not going to make the same mistake Mom made." And I hope that everyone except Charlie dies violently. Can you imagine being told that by your daughter?
Oh, Tracker Man has Bella's mom. I also, for some reason, forgot how this book started, which is like Bella clinging on to life. And that's the scene that we're going to see, huh? Is it weird that I want to see Emmett kill this guy more than I want to see Edward kill him? I know I'm not going to get that, but it's what I want.
This guy's making a snuff film. He's going to torture and kill Bella and record it so Edward can see and avenge her. I don't know why I know what snuff films are. I'm pretty sure there's a Nicolas Cage movie about it, but I'll tell you, normally very much against them. In this instance, I'm still bitter at what Bella did to Charlie, and I'll allow it. Stop talking. What? Freaky tracker snuff film guy. He's telling the story that only one person has evaded him before, and it was a young woman who had an old vampire. And the old vampire was so afraid of losing her that he locked her away. And then old vampire finally released young vampire, and then tracker guy killed old vampire for taking his prey away. That was really convoluted. I don't think I explained that well at all. But the person who got away is Alice. I don't remember this shit at all. I feel like this was added to the book after I read it. I don't think this has bearing on anything, does it? It's a nice little detail, but it doesn't change anything. That's fine. My mind is blown, though.
Well, surprise, surprise, Bella survived. And she's in the hospital now, so we got to meet Renee for the first time. And lovely woman, I'm sure. But why is Bella more adult than the adults? I love Charlie. Well-known Charlie lover. But he has his flaws. You know, he basically exists to be a police officer and doesn't know how to cook anything other than peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But Renee is like a textbook codependent parent. And again, I have to ask, were we aware of these things in 2006, 2007? Or was everybody just reading this being like, it is what it is? It's just at some point, I'm sure the parents are going to know that Edward is a vampire. And if they question why Bella would want to date a vampire, my question would be, if you look at how she was raised, did you think she was going to turn out normal? And at some point, you just got to feel bad for the kid. Of course she went and dated a vampire. Look at her role models. She's got no stability in her life. A guy who is never going to die. That sounds perfect. I'm almost positive things go downhill, but I like this version of Jacob. You know, his dad bribes him to show up to Bella's prom and give her some warning about Edward and his family. And he's just apologetic the whole time and trying to be cordial. And I remember enough to know that they don't stay platonic friends. He wants to date her. But if they did, I think it would have added a lot to the story. It is done. And it's just such a good time. I don't know if it's 2008 nostalgia or there's just cracks sprinkled between the pages. But I'll give you a little bit of inside baseball here. When I'm doing these videos, I typically have to read when I can be recording. I have to have energy. I can't be reading in bed at midnight and then turn on the camera and just be like, that was a good page. Because this wouldn't be fun to watch. And I was enjoying myself so much through this book that I had to stop myself during those times. It would be 10, 11, 12, and I would have to shut down reading because I knew that I couldn't record anything. And I wanted to continue so badly. And that's how you know a book is just num, 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 num. At the same time, I'm not really comfortable rating it because objectively it isn't good. I'm not trying to be that asshole, but I've read N.K. Jemison's The Fifth Season. That is a literary masterpiece. But the reading experience of Twilight is more fun. But if I gave those two the same rating, what does that rating even mean? I hope this is making sense. I'm just not giving you an actual star rating because that means that I have to go start critiquing things like prose and character and storyline. And I don't think this book even has a plot until the last 100 pages when the tracker vampire shows up. I know a lot of people give a 5-star rating if it's just a hella vibes book. I don't do that. I'm not comfortable doing that. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a emoji rating. Vampire guy. the palest woman emoji we can find, half an aubergine, a tree, and a cop. And you know what? I think that makes more sense than stars would. But thank you so much for being here. Movie live reactions in 2 weeks.
Like and subscribe.